All right, a crash course on the do's and don'ts when you are involved in an accident.
Absolutely. Attorney Brook Goff from Goff Law is joining us because we all want to know, and too often we probably make mistakes. So thank you for being here.
Everybody makes mistakes because in the moment it's an emergency.
Exactly.
And you're not, it's fight or flight, right? So you're not really thinking, okay, well, how is this decision that I'm making right in this moment going to affect me? I don't know, 3 months later. People just aren't thinking about that.
We get into an accident, God forbid. I mean, I don't want that to happen to anybody, but there are certain things we should do and certain things we shouldn't do.
Certain things you should know, yeah, and certain things you should do. Obviously, there's this myth that goes around that you should, like, no matter where you are, stay with the car, don't move the car. If you're in the middle of 84 and you're in the middle lane in rush hour, get out of there, okay? Because the last concern you're going to have is this accident. It's going to be the accidents that follow, right? So, look, the damage, the property damage is going to speak for itself, and your version of the events are going to speak for themselves. The police officers are going to do an investigation, and they'll figure out what happened.
So you just safely move to the shoulder, but don't leave.
I mean, if you're close to an exit, especially 84 is full of exits all over the place, right? If you're close to an exit, turn off the exit, kind of get to at least the exit ramp, and then and hopefully the car follows you. I would tell you, do your best. The person, unless you're rear-ended, most accidents that happen on highways are rear-enders, unfortunately. Try to just see if you can get the license plate. Kind of look behind you and just see if you can get the license plate, if it's safe to do so, and then move forward. Because that way, if that car takes off, well, you have the license plate, we can run a plate search, and we can figure out at least where the car is. I mean, your health needs to be number one, right? In you being okay after the accident. So the last thing you want to do is put yourself in harm's way and stay in the middle of the road. Small country road where not a lot of people are, fine. Pull over to the side, get off to the side, exchange information. But if you're on a highway, get out of Dodge.
Okay, that's really good, important information because I would have stayed there.
Well, I have one other one I bet you don't know. So always call the police. You know that one, right? But the call's recorded. So, and that can be gotten later from the insurance company, from a good plaintiff's lawyer, and from a good defense, well, the insurance is usually given, but a good defense lawyer. So if you sound, you got to be careful. Just be to the point, short, sweet, that's it. If you sound crazed, if you are calling the person names, all these things, I had this case where I represented this 82-year-old woman, okay? The nicest lady you've ever met. Honestly, she was a teacher, nicest lady. She was very shaken up of the accident, calling the person by their names, not the woman I met. I actually thought they mixed up the calls. She had like an accent, like a Staten Island-y accent, so I'm like, maybe it just was two accidents with two people that have the same. No, it was her. And I could never put that in front of a jury, right? Because they would, my lady who really is the best part of the case right now is now her whole persona is going to change because the jury's going to hear this call. So do not, just to the point, short and sweet. Do not come off as you're very upset, highly agitated. Don't call names. The jury's going to judge you based on that. So.
That's interesting?
Most people don't know.
We're always in a rush. That is such good advice. I never knew that, but we're always in a rush. So if you're okay and it's kind of minor, but you don't know what's going to happen down the road. Maybe 3 days from then you're going to wake up with a problem. Do you have to wait for police? You have to stay and just say, I'm sorry, I've been in an accident. I can't. I get someone else to pick up your kids. Do you have to stay?
I always say stay for the police. I'm not saying you have to take the ambulance to the hospital. If you're feeling okay, just tell the police, look, down the, if things get worse or I have somewhere to be, I will get medical attention later. Unless you have a broken bone or something significant happening, the police will let you go on their way. But if you're asked if you're injured, and a lot of people do this, and you say no just because you're looking to leave and you don't want the police to call the ambulance and everything else, no is a very strong statement. So when you come in my office 3 weeks later, and I get the police report, I know exactly what the insurance company is going to say. Well, they are injured days later, but they said no, they were not injured on the report. Just say, look, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I'm shaken up right now, which everybody that gets in an accident is shaking up. If I feel that it warrants medical attention, I'll follow up on my own. The police officer will put that in the report. If they don't, you get a copy of your report. You have the right to challenge if there's something in there that you didn't say. Most people don't know that either, but you can't do it 3 months later.
And you say
you have to do it right now.
You say it's important to speak with a lawyer before the insurance company.
Always, because the insurance company is trained to ask you questions that are open-ended that could really come back and bite you later. They may have already talked to their insured. That's the other piece. So they may know what their insured's going to say, and they're going to try to make their insured's case look that much better by the questions they ask you. So those can be used later. They're usually recorded statements. Always talk to a lawyer first. I'm not saying you have to hire one. Look, you might be I want to do this on my own, whatever, fine.
Right.
But at least speak to a lawyer.
Even both ways, if you're the hurt one or the one who caused the accident?
If you're the one that caused the accident, you need to speak to your insurance company.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you have a duty to do that. If you are the injured person, yes, you need to speak to a lawyer. And somebody else, it doesn't matter.
Brooke, if I had an accident in New York, can I still use you?
You can use, so that's a great question. People ask this all the time. Attorneys that are in any state can manage a case out of state, but they can't file litigation on it necessarily. Now, you just asked me if you're in New York, can you use me? As of Friday, yes. I'm a newly admitted New York attorney where I grew up and I'm from, so absolutely. And the rules are very different in New York. You want to make sure you're using an attorney that's trained in New York as well. But I will tell you, if you got in an accident and you live in Connecticut, you're coming home from Florida, you got in an accident in North Carolina, a pre-litigation settlement, which is how most cases resolve, can be done by a Connecticut attorney, sure. But if it has to go into litigation, we have to involve somebody that's barred in the state, or these other ways that they can do something called pro hoc vice, they can get the attorney admitted just for that case, blah, blah, blah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
I do need to say one more thing, though.
Yeah.
Photos. Take photos. We all have fancy cell phones. Take photos. Do not take selfies. Selfies are bad, okay? They are discoverable evidence.
They make it look like you don't care. Okay.
Well, think about it. You're claiming injury, but you have a selfie, and I mean, how injured are you? Do not take selfies. Don't post to social media. The insurance companies have what we call trolls that go on social media. They pretend like there's somebody you know, and then they're just monitoring and reporting back to the insurance company what you're doing.
All right. People can reach you at gofflaw.net.
Yes.
They can call you at 203-399-0000. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, guys.
All right. Good to see you.